Ladies and gentlemen of the wrestling world, this is Wrestling Matters Podcast, episode 5. And yes, my name is Anthony Walker. Now, before we get to Raw, SmackDown, TNA, and whatever else I wanted to do on the program, on the podcast, I feel the need to go into a little bit of a rant. Now, it's not just doing these podcasts for you guys, it's doing CVFM as well. CVFM Wrestling Revolution Podcast, Tuesdays 5:30 on CVFM Radio, cvfm.org.uk. Ever since I've started doing that, and I started that last year, sometime November, maybe late November, early December last year, I started them and it just went on and went on and went on. I remember one time I sat down the CVFM CVFM HQ, and I was editing a show. Dries came over to me, Dries Rashid, who's the owner there and the mastermind behind CVFM Radio, came over to me and people were asking him, and I got this a few times as well before this, but people were asking him, who's that yank on the radio station? That yank being me, because it seems that apparently I come across as a American when I'm doing these podcasts, and it's not just on CVFM, it's on this one as well, and people think I'm putting it on, people think it's a character, people think I'm coming across as some sort of a character, and when they meet me in real life it's entirely different. No, I just want to clarify that this is how I am when it comes to doing podcasts or being on the proverbial radio stations or podcasts or whatever. This is how it comes across, okay? I am a 29-year-old man from Middlesbrough, northeast of England. I am a proud Teesside boy. Do I wish I was probably living in America? Yes, considering what they've done to me or what they've done for me actually when it comes to wrestling and that. I am a proud Teesside boy. I am a Middlesbrough boy, okay? Middlesbrough born and raised, and that's not going to change, okay? What you're hearing right now, guys, it's how it comes across over the radio, okay? I'm not an American. I'm British, 100% British. I'm 100% Middlesbrough as well. I'm from Middlesbrough, the northeast of England, 29 years old. I'm not from New York. I'm not from America. I am British. I'm not taking this as a bad thing that I'm from America, that you guys think I'm from America, or you guys think I sound like from America. I'm not taking it as a bad thing. No. I just want to make something clear, because people thinking I'm putting this on as a character. What you're getting, guys, on these podcasts and on CVFM as well, despite the fact of being 6 minutes, what you're getting is 110% real. This is how it is. This is how it always will be. There's nothing fake about these podcasts. Nothing characters, okay? I'm not wrestling. I'm doing a radio show. There's nothing characterized. My name is Anthony Walker. This is how I come across to you guys. Take it or leave. I just felt the need to get that out, because I've had a lot of people, not just where I go and the places I go at work as well, and I just felt the need to clarify that up. It is what it is. I'm not taking it as a bad thing. You could take it as a rant. You could take it as whatever it is you need to do. I just felt the need to explain to you guys. 29 years old. I'm from Middlesbrough. I'm 100% British. There's nothing American about me, trust me. Sometimes I do act American sometimes, but hell, I'm a wrestling fan, and I've grown up a wrestling fan, and I guess you can call that the entertainment side, so to speak, of me. Be that as it may, I'll show you the birth certificates and whatever else I need to show you. I am 100% British. I'm 100% from Middlesbrough. I'm a 100% born and raised Teesside boy. Anyway, enough of that. I digress. It's time for Raw. We start the Monday Night Raw main points this week, the main talking points this week, with John Cena appearing in a cage, talking about how the fans need to not buy into this Bray Wyatt situation and what Bray Wyatt's trying to do. He says if Bray Wyatt escapes the cage, he will take his message with him, and his message will spread throughout WWE. Well, Bray Wyatt came out and claims to have the whole world in his hands. But when the WWE Universe took hold of John Cena's fate on last week's program by sentencing him to a 3-on-1 handicap match against the Wyatt family, the man of 1,000 truths and his 2 henchmen, the message seemed to be as loud as one of Wyatt's sing-alongs. The Universe wanted Cena destroyed. Smarting from the slights the Cena Nation leader took to the ring on Raw 6 days before he meets, like I said, Wyatt in a steel cage, and promised victory as long as the eater of words flock remained outnumbered. As if on cue, a children choir came out to the stage rather, and started singing The Whole World in His Hands, and then surrounded the ring where Cena was in. It went on from there, and there was a girl who sat on Bray's lap, donning a sheep's mask, just like everybody else around the ring. I gotta tell you, speaking as a fan, that was probably one of the most creepiest things I've ever seen in my life as a WWE fan. But seems like John Cena may have have his hands full in the cage at Extreme Rules, unlike WrestleMania. Cesaro met Jack Swagger again in the next main point, and Paul Heyman came out and started talking about, Brock Lesnar conquered the street, but this time round they cut his mic, which was a blessing in disguise, because quite frankly I'm getting sick of hearing that now. And another great match between these two. Clearly, the talking point of this match was towards the end of the match. The match was relatively the same as last week, but this time the talking point towards the end was a certain Paul Heyman coming out of nowhere and grabbing that long moustache of Sepp Coulter. Like if he was choking him, he grabbed out of it, like if he was putting something around the neck to choke him out, he just grabbed out of it and started messing about with it, and that distracted Swagger, and Cesaro came in from behind, put him in the German suplex and got the 1-2-3. And obviously that didn't sit well with Cesaro, with Sepp Coulter and Swagger. And later on, Sepp Coulter started to try and work together with Rob Van Dam, because he interrupted the Rob Van Dam interview, suggesting that them two should work together against Paul Heyman and Cesaro. Van Dam and Swagger, that is, but Van Dam was having none of it, and that led to later on, which I'll get to in a minute. Stephanie McMahon tries to come out and apologise to Daniel Bryan for what has happened with Kane and tombstones that Daniel's received, causing him to have a serious neck injury. But Daniel just got back from his honeymoon with Brie, and not long back, refused to accept Stephanie's apology, and the Queen Bee still offered Brie an olive branch, so to speak, an impromptu Divas Championship match against Paige. However, considering what's happened the last time round and the past couple of weeks, Daniel Bryan was having none of it. That match was going to be allowed if Daniel could be at ringside watching Brie's back, so to speak, because you never know when the monster was going to show up. And Stephanie allowed it, despite the fact she claimed that the monster's mask was locked up in the case in her office somewhere, and there was going to be no sight of Kane. But as the match was about to take place, it went backstage and the mask was gone. So it was a good thing that Daniel Bryan stayed at ringside, which led to the Women's Championship match, the Divas Championship match between Brie and Paige, which went to a no contest when Kane emerged from beneath the ring trying to attack Brie and dragging her down to hell like his brother used to do, drag people to hell underneath the ring. And I think Kane was on the receiving end of it once from The Undertaker as well. But Daniel came in, started kicking him and trying to get his wife away, and eventually did. And then it went in and he got choked. He got pushed down at his neck. We're outside the ring, got some sort of a wrench or a hammer as Kane was about to attack Brie. Kane turns round and gets whacked in the face and gets what we thought was knocked out. But Kane sits back up, chokeslams Daniel, and tries to do the same thing again with Brie and try to drag her into hell. But Brie, thank God, managed to get away, and that left Kane in the ring smiling like the evil demon that he is. And I talk about earlier on John Cena having his hands full. I think Daniel Bryan's got his hands full with Kane. And like I said last time, you wouldn't believe these two are former tag team champions, would you? Be interesting to see what happens at Extreme Rules between this match. And by the way, it is for the world title, and it's an Extreme Rules match as well. So it's going to be interesting. Now to the finals of the number one contenders Intercontinental Championship Tournament, which saw a great match between two contenders for Big E's title, which were Bad News Barrett and Rob Van Dam. Unfortunately, not unfortunate actually, I'm kind of glad he won, no offense to Rob Van Dam, but unfortunately for Rob Van Dam, he was on the receiving end of a bullhammer elbow, which seized the victory, thanks to some interference from Cesaro on behalf of Paul Heyman, because Rob Van Dam went for the 5-star frog splash on Bad News Barrett. Bad News got his knees up, hit him with the bullhammer, and got the victory. 1, 2, 3 on Rob Van Dam, and Cesaro basically cost Rob Van Dam a shot at the Intercontinental Championship. However, Jack Swagger came out and started beating up on Cesaro, trying to pick up where he left off, then starts to go to work on Rob Van Dam, and Swagger lays Cesaro out in the ring on the other side, and Van Dam sees the moment to do a 5-star frog splash. He was going to 5-star frog splash somebody, and he wasn't going to be denied. And despite Paul Heyman's plea of him not to do it, well, Van Dam MSM hasn't listened to Paul Heyman in over a decade, so he went ahead and did it and nailed the 5-star frog splash on Cesaro. Statement made. And after Raw went off the air, it was announced that at Extreme Rules, a triple threat match would take place. Rob Van Dam, Cesaro, and Swagger. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to that match myself. Very, very interesting. But that being said, bad news Barrett, Wade Barrett is now the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship and will face Big E on Extreme Rules. And in my opinion, he will be the new Intercontinental Champion for a 4th time. I just hope this time around, if he wins the Intercontinental Championship, hopefully, this will push him into a world title run, or a world title shot at least, being in a world title picture, because he damn sure deserves it. It's long overdue. I digress. And now to the main event, which ended up in a no contest, which basically started with all 6 members in the ring, of the 3 members of the Shield and 3 members of Evolution. But then it would mean that Evolution meets Revolution this Sunday, and it started with them all in the ring, like I said, and it started also with Ric Flair making an appearance. That's right. The rumours were rampant that Flair would show up, and he did. And everybody thought he would show up to endorse, and be a part of Evolution, just like he used to be. However, that seemed not to be the case, because Ric Flair handed the Hounds of Justice his personal endorsement and basically slapped Evolution in the face, which was kind of a surprise because I thought he'd be on Evolution's side, but be that as it may, the former 16-time world champion basically spat in the face of his old comrades, and just nothing happened in this match from what I saw anyway, because like I say, it went to a no contest. The main thing was a brawl broke out on the outside between Evolution and the Shield, or as they're known on WWE.com, the Revolution. Brawl broke out. Evolution were dominating them on the outside, and then Seth Rollins comes in. I think Triple H was about to pedigree, I believe, was Dean Ambrose. Seth Rollins comes in out of nowhere, does his move on Triple H, knocks him out, and then kicks Batista's head off, and that left Triple H on the receiving end of a spear and almost on the receiving end of a triple powerbomb. A little distraction from Evolution caused the COO to get away and live to fight another day, and that other day will be Sunday at Extreme Rules, because there'll be no running, no hiding. This will hopefully be settled at Extreme Rules, despite the fact, that I've heard some rumours of how this is going to pan out, this feud between Evolution and the Shield. But like I say, there'll be no hiding at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, because it'll be a 6-man tag team war, and I can't wait. Anyway, with that being said, ladies and gents, it's time to move on to the main points of TNA. TNA started this week with MVP and Eric Young in the office, and Eric Young saying that he wanted to defend the title, and he wanted this party to continue by defending the championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, on this episode of TNA Impact Wrestling. So MVP went out and got some opponents, which were Gunner, Mr. Anderson, and eventually, out of nowhere, Bobby Roode. And they all decided via cards who had the highest card would get an advance, and the lowest card would face each other in the first match, like a round robin kind of feel. And Gunner and Mr. Anderson ended up having the lower cards, and Bobby Roode got the higher card, which was an ace. It ended up being Bobby Roode will end up meeting the winner of the Gunner versus Mr. Anderson match, which I will get to later on. Now, Magnus comes out and starts gobbling. I'm not even going to talk about that. I'll let you see that for yourself in the TNA's YouTube page. The link will be in the description. He just basically goes off an MVP and that, saying that he wasn't in the world title. I'll move on to Bully Ray. Now, Bully Ray came out this week with a table that he's done so in the past that had a name on it, and that name was Dixie Carter, and he was seething with anger after what Dixie did to him at the Sacrifice pay-per-view, and says if he sees her tonight, she's going straight through a table, and Dixie's serving as a bullseye on the table. Question is, will that happen? More on that later on. Now, for the first match of the evening, which was Gunner versus Mr. Anderson, with the hope of a World Championship match looming on the horizon, Kenny Anderson, and Gunner held nothing back in their following encounter. They showed mutual respect for each other, and it looked like a fair battle, and a great battle in fact as well. That was until Cowboy Jane Storm spoilt it. While most expected Storm to go after his former tag team partner, he didn't, and instead nailed Ken Anderson with a kick to the face in an apparent accident, and left him vulnerable for the pin. If it was accidental, James didn't look too broken up about it when Gunner had his hand raised in victory. Sorry about your damn aim, I suppose. Now we move on to a stupid thing about the match that took place, which was EC3 and Spud's training session. Now, apparently EC3, this upcoming edition of TNA Impact Wrestling, will be facing a very pissed off Kurt Angle. And now, EC3 got Spud to do a training session with him and basically warm him up for the match between EC3 and Kurt Angle. Now, it was amateur wrestling, mad skills, it was an exhibition of some sort, which Kurt Angle couldn't even stand to take any more of the nonsense, quite frankly, because that's what it was. It just turned into a nonsense. And he walks onto the ramp and reminds Ethan Carter that all the jokes in the world won't prepare him for next Thursday. Laugh now, but next week, your undefeated streak comes to an end. The Olympic gold medalist made that perfectly clear. And he also guaranteed Mr. Carter that Kurt Angle, will hurt him. I can't wait for that next week. Hopefully C3PO will get what he deserves. And like Mike Tenay said on it as well, apparently C3 called it a dream match. Well, next week, it may very well become a nightmare. Now for the other match in this round robin, which was Bobby Roode and Gunner, after Gunner getting a cheap win over Mr. Anderson thanks to James Storm. Gunner's victory over Kenneth Anderson leads him to the next bout against Bobby Roode, which is the winner facing Eric Young later on in the night for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship belt. The importance of the victory wasn't lost on these two, as the two of the most focused stars in TNA's history, both Mr. Intensity and the It Factor, were willing to do anything to achieve victory. It was the Roode bomb that finished things off though, and Bobby came out on top and was advancing to the main event to face his old buddy in Team Canada, Eric Young, for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Now on to chaos involving Bully Ray and Dixie Carter. And that's right. Say what you want about Dixie Carter, but the woman has guts. I'll grant that. She calls for Bully Ray's personalized Dixie table to be brought to the ring. Surrounded by security, Carter addresses the live crowd while seated on top of it. She crows about putting Bully through a table at Sacrifice and how she's the first woman to do so. The audience doesn't share her sense of history and boos her throughout, but Dixie doesn't care. She is proud of herself. She has security here to prevent an attack from Ray if it comes, which he does. Bully Ray stopped on the ramp by a wall of security guards, but a microphone lets his voice travel throughout the arena and uses it only to verbal attack the TNA president, but also to reason with the security guard. He appeals for their sense of justice. Don't you guys just hate her? Don't you guys want to see Dixie get her due? Come on, fellas. What do you say? They say goodbye and take their leave. Shocked by it, the president sends the three remaining security guards to attack, which they do, but it doesn't stop Bully from tossing them all out of the ring and literally beating the crap out of them, and then setting his sights on Dixie Carter and gets a hold of her, and just as he was about to put her through a powerbomb through a table, the boss comes out, MVP, and stops the madness and stops Ray dead in his tracks about to put Dixie through a table, and proceeds until further notice to ban Dixie Carter and Bully Ray from the Impact Zone until further notice. Probably the first mistake that MVP has done as TNA management. Hopefully, Bully will get her hands and give Dixie what she deserves. We have to wait and see. Now, Willow versus James Storm. Fans were buzzing about the next match as the unpredictable Willow squared off against the equally unpredictable James Storm, Jeff Hardy's masked alter ego. It was unusual, ultra-aggressive self which was an assist against the man of Storm's mean streak. If you need proof of this mean streak, you just need to look at the finish here. In the act of sheer frustration, he pushes the referee and gets a DQ in what was a great match between the two and a very interesting match, like it said. And after the bell, James tried to attack him with a broken bottle. He smashed the bottle onto the ring post and tries to use the top end to attack Hardy with it, but Hardy managed to get it and attempted to attack him with it, but James managed to get it away as far as up the ramp. And as he was getting away, Mr. Anderson was waiting behind him. James goes to nail him. Anderson ducks. Anderson hits him with a mic check and gives him a seat for what happened earlier on in the night after James cost him a chance to move on against Gunner to face Bobby Roode. Hopefully James will learn you never mess with an asshole. 6-man tag. Bromains. All 3 members of the Bromains, the Jersey Shore Rejects, who will get their rematch next upcoming on Impact against the Wolves, took on the Wolves and the X Division champion, Sonata. The action was fast and furious. In a truly breathtaking battle, it was a series of top rope finishing moves in this match with a double stomp from Davey Richards that led to GJZ's downfall and a pinfall which saw Sonata and the tag team champions claim a victory. Question is, will the Wolves win next week and retain their titles, or will the Bromains find a way to get their belts back? I guess we'll have to wait. On to the World Heavyweight Championship match. The main event was everything you expected between Eric Young and Bobby Roode, with the World Heavyweight Championship hanging in the balance. They both showed all the determination you expect in such an important bout. Gave a chance for Eric Young to solidify his place as TNA champion and show once again that he deserves to be the World Heavyweight Champion. After a brilliant showdown, it was Eric Young that stood tall after a top rope elbow to claim the 1-2-3 over the It Factor. But the highlight of the match came at the end. Eric Young showing respect by helping him up and shaking his hand. Post-match handshake at the end. I guess Impact and TNA have a World Heavyweight Champion that they can be proud of. And after the match, Jeremy Borash caught up with him and said, "What's next for the World Champion?" He said, "Another title shot this upcoming on Impact." Eric Young as World Champion is far from done. Question is, who will his opponent be? I guess we'll have to find out on TNA. SmackDown results, ladies and gentlemen. SmackDown kicked off with a big 6-man tag. Kicking off SmackDown was a main event caliber 6-man tag team match featuring the Wyatt family against Sheamus and the WWE Tag Team Champions, the Usos. The hard-fought contest reached a fever pace after an in-battle Sheamus tagged in Jimmy Uso, turning the tide against the Wyatt family and Bray Wyatt. However, the Eater of Words tagged himself in without being noticed, introducing a surprise Sister Abigail on one half of the World Tag Team Champions to produce the victory. An impressive one at that. Despite the loss, Jey Uso and the heated Celtic Warrior continued to take the fight to their opponents outside the ring, which included an electrifying over-the-top rope lead from the Soaring Samoan onto the Wyatts, but were unable to overcome the brutality of their SmackDown opponents. Is John Cena destined for Sister Abigail in the cage at Extreme Rules? Guess we'll find out, won't we? With Cesaro and Paul Heyman joining the SmackDown announced team, Rob Van Dam and Jack Swagger competed in a hard-hitting bout. When the action spread outside the ring, Swagger took full advantage of the King of Swing, knocking his former tag team partner on the ground with a powerful attack. Paul Heyman's client got retribution, however, distracting the Real American, enough for Rob Van Dam to hit the 5-star frog splash after Swagger receiving a spin kick from the whole effing show. The Swiss superstar capped off his momentum-building moment by cutting short the Extreme Superstar by hitting him with a neutralizer. Question is, will he be able to do that at Extreme Rules? This is going to be a great triple threat match, and apparently it is an elimination match as well. This is one match I'm very much looking forward to at Extreme Rules. I cannot wait. It's going to be good. 2 days before their Extreme Rules war for the World Heavyweight Championship, Daniel Bryan came before the WWE Universe still donning a neck brace from his former tag team partner, Tombstone Attack, explaining the Demon King raised their rivalry to appalling levels when he put his hands on his wife, Brie Bella. The impassioned Bryan described that he will do anything to protect his family, even if it means taking a trip to hell to face the devil's favorite demon. The World Heavyweight Champion SmackDown speech was cut short when the Demon himself and WWE's Director of Operations appeared on the Titantron. The Fighting 7-Foot clarified that a voyage to the underworld would include even deeper depths as it goes along. A welcome journey for the Big Red Demon. In response, the Beard removed his neck brace, ready to risk everything at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I think Bryan is in for a fight of his life. Can he overcome it? I believe so, but I'm not counting this Big Red Monster out. And notice I said Big Red Monster, not the Big Red Brown Noser. The monster's back, and he's looking for Daniel, and you'll get him in Extreme Rules. It may very well be a long night for the World Heavyweight Champion. Titus O'Neil's newfound and overly aggressive approach backfired after he he not only was disqualified for failing to heed the referee's play, but suffered a brutal post-match beatdown at the hands of the Intercontinental Champion and an irate Intercontinental Champion, Biggie Langston. The intense encounter raised the question, will the powerful title holder be ready to face the number one contender for his Intercontinental Championship belt, Bad News Barrett, at Extreme Rules? Because let's face it, Titus O'Neil ain't no Bad News Barrett, and I think Bad News Barrett can overcome. This is my prediction. I think Bad News Barrett can overcome Biggie Langston and be a 4-time Intercontinental Champion, but it ain't gonna be easy, because I know Biggie Langston will do anything to retain that belt. The main event of the evening was for the United States Championship belt. One third of the Hounds of Justice, Dean Ambrose faced off against challengers Curtis Axel, Ryback, and Alberto Del Rio. With his fellow Hounds of Justice banned from ringside and the match against Evolution on the horizon at Extreme Rules, the odds were stacked against Dean Ambrose retaining his United States Championship belt in the main event of SmackDown. With the Lunatic Fringe's nearly 350-day United States Championship reign on the line, in an early 3-on-1 assault, the title holder quickly turned into every superstar for himself. At the height of the action, after Ambrose was sent onto the timekeeper's table, Curtis Axel, Ryback, and Del Rio all attempted to make their claim for the coveted championship when Ryback hit a shell shock on Del Rio. Only Axel's interference stopped the human wrecking ball from reigning supreme. The son of Mr. Perfect then tried to steal a victory by crawling into the ring over the fallen Alberto Del Rio, only to be met by Dean Ambrose, who rolled him up to collect the 1-2-3. After the match, the beatdown ensued, with Ryback trying to beat down Dean Ambrose, only for Dean Ambrose's comrades in the Shield, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, to come in and clean house, and Roman Reigns hitting a spear on Ryback, as well as the Superman punch on Curtis Axel, and then delivering a triple powerbomb on Curtis Axel. Question is, will that triple powerbomb be a member of Evolution's fate at Extreme Rules? Oh boy, can I not wait for the Extreme Rules. Bring it. Anyway, I'll be back after this quick message, ladies and gentlemen, to finish off the show and to let you know what's up for future shows also. So stay tuned. I'll be back after this.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change. Are you ready?
It is Sunday, and you're listening to the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast.
Give me a hell yeah! Get some love! Ooh, yeah!
With Kenny Killer.
Hey, yo! We're in the big D tonight, baby, and we are live! Woo!
I'm the Goddamn Sugar Should.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be! Cause that's the bottom line! The Stone Cold Simpson!
Download the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast now at iTunes. Download the Wrestling Matters podcast now on Podomatic.com and iTunes for free. And welcome back to the podcast. Now it's time before I close out the show, guys, and send you on your merry ways, I want to promote EPW. That's right. Make sure you check out the channels. The channels will be in the description if you see this on YouTube. At EPWwrestling on Twitter. Facebook.com/EPW American Wrestling. And EPWwrestling.co.uk as well. Make sure you check them out. Like their Facebook. Follow them on Twitter. And just show your support for my hometown promotion, ladies and gentlemen, because this is a promotion that's trying to be built as wrestling promotion, and I will do any bit part of it, and even though he wants me to come back to wrestle, but I will play my part in any way, shape or form to make this and put this promotion over and give it the recognition it long overdue deserves, quite frankly. Now it's been taken as a serious promotion, as I found out April 19th, well, from that show at least. Also, up and coming this couple of weeks, I don't know, maybe a couple of days, I don't know, maybe this week or next week, whatever. But be on the lookout on my YouTube page, on Podomatic, on iTunes. Be on the lookout for more EPW Podcasts. That's right, me doing podcasts on my hometown promotion. I did an April 19th one. That link will be in the description as well. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Like I said, go and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's what I saw April 19th at Colby Newham in Rainbow Leisure Centre in Middlesbrough, my hometown. But over the past couple of weeks, I've been watching their YouTube page and I've done my thoughts on the shows from Redcar, Hartlepool. Hartlepool was May 3rd and Redcar was April 20th, the day after April 19th show, and I did one from Bishop Auckland as well, which was April 18th, and I will probably do the others that are on there as well. There's one from April 26th and 27th, I think. Anyway, I'll check that out and I'll get them done as well. Like I say, be sure to be on the lookout for them as well. My podcast is being very successful from what I'm gathering from the Podomatic statistics, or statistics, whatever you want to call them. There you go, I should have said that in the first place. Yeah, apparently from what I've been seeing, depending on which day I go on, I'm dipping in and out of the top 20 on the podcasts, at least for my category at least. This tells me that the podcasts are working, and I'm very thankful, I'm very appreciative of you guys and your support and everything. And like I say, at WM Podcast on Twitter, follow that Twitter site. Again, link will be in the description, as well as facebook.com/WM Podcast on Facebook. Like that crap out of that page. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you like the video, like that video, hit as many likes as you can on that video as well. And also be sure to be on the lookout as well, if I can do it. I've got a webcam up and running now. I've got my webcam up and running now thanks to a program by the name of Movie Maker, the program formerly known as Windows Movie Maker, and it's got an inbuilt webcam in, and it's got that working as well, so thank God. And be sure to check out my YouTube page as well, youtube.com/AJW Wrestling Matters, where I'll be doing my Extreme Rules review. That's right, it's a pilot episode, it's a test, and I don't mean Andrew Martin, God rest his soul. I'm going to be doing a test video on that to see where that goes, and if you like it, I will continue to do more. If not, I'll scrap it and go somewhere else and just continue with the podcasts. Be sure to on the lookout as well. I will do a Extreme Rules review of the pay-per-view, and also be on the lookout as well for the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast episode, I believe it's 58. Yours truly is on, along with at Top Rope Elbow, Steve Dawson, and Vicky Els as well. I believe it's at Vicky Els on Twitter. I'll put the Twitter sites in the description as well. I'll put the Twitter sites in the description as well, and be sure to check them. Be sure to check that episode out because I'm on it. Check out my boys as well. The Sunday Segue, the brothers as well. Thank you guys for your support and what you've done and what you've done and the advice you've given me for the platform to get over on these podcasts as well. Although I've been doing podcasts on CVFM, but you guys have, kind of like built the platform for me to create and help with this Wrestling Matters podcast, and I'm very appreciative of it. And like I say, if you don't know the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast, guys, you either live under a rock or you're a complete idiot. But like I say, don't worry, all the links will be in the description for what you need, and be sure to check that out as well. And if I miss any of the links in the description, I do apologize. Just let me know in the comments and I'll put them in. But above all else, be sure to check out that episode as well, because I'm on it, and I'm also going to be on the Sunday Segue Wrestling Podcast again June 15th for the first round match in the Beat the Clock tournament as well, so be sure to check that out as well when that comes around. And above all else, to show your support for the Sunday Segue crew, and above all else, tune into the show next week, because that's it from me, your boy, Anthony Walker. And until next time, guys, enjoy your rest of the week, and I'll see you next time. And remember, guys, as always, wrestling matters. Goodbye from me. Goodbye.